Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm here today to, I had a couple ideas for movie reviews. I might hold it back on movie reviews and just do the ones that I do with John. I got one more with him that I'll probably put up later on in the week. Um, I wanted to dedicate this video to that Miss Quinn and also Howard Cat, my friends, and you'll find out why I dedicate it to them in a second. And in a way, Queenie Todd too. In her Google Hangout, that live Google Hangout I was on Thursday night. But first, I want to mention a couple things revolving YouTube, and one little thing about my channel. I was really shocked that Inside Edition did a video saying, "What is the fire noodle challenge?" And Howard Cat actually sent me some of the fire noodles, and I actually did a video about that. And they show all these clips from YouTube. They sure as hell didn't show my clip. I wish they would have. That would have been awesome. Thanks a lot, Inside Edition. And also yesterday, one of the bigger channels I do watch is WatchMojo.com. I don't always agree with them. They talk about awkward moments on SNL. And I went to click on it. It said this video is unavailable. NBC Universal has blocked it for replaying stuff. And that was the first time I've ever seen them do it to WatchMojo.com, because they have clips of everything on there. And then that went on for about an hour or so. Because I'd go back and just click just to see. Because I was curious. And they still kept the video up. And it was probably about like 2 hours after the fact you could watch it regularly. I saw it on the Roku. And that really surprised me. I'd never seen it happen to the WatchMojo.com. I don't know if they have to deal with that problem a lot or not. Well, anyways, this is going to be like a big movie and also like a one short film review. And I have like a Christmas later one I'm going to be doing pretty soon. And the first one I want to review is Cain. Now, Cain is a movie that I know some people have been asking me to check out because they said it was really good. And they were talking about on that Queenie Todd show. So this video is actually for Queenie Todd too. And I finally saw it. I know that there's one girl that I know who's a cam girl, that Miss Quinn, who has a YouTube channel. I just watch her YouTube channel. I've never seen her cam girl stuff. And she actually did a video saying cam reviewed by a cam girl, something like that. And I didn't watch that video until I saw the movie. Because I want to see the movie first, because sometimes she goes and she gives spoilers, and she gave some spoilers in this one too. I try not to do spoilers at all, And so don't watch the trailer for this. It gives away the whole movie. The trailer for this gives away the whole film, Anyways, it revolves around this girl that's a cam girl, and that cam girl's like, because John didn't know what one was. It's like a girl that puts on like adult shows and stuff like that. That's how they make their living and stuff like that. I guess that the girl who started was trying to get like, they have like a rankings. I guess it's a big competition. She gets in like the top 50 or something. She was trying to get in the top 50. And there's so much competition. Just like with food reviewers or in the horror, just different communities within YouTube. Let's say if you're in the gaming community or a food review community or horror community and stuff like that, we're always trying to be number one or trying to at least get reviews out before anyone else, kind of to try to be number one. It is tough, you know what I mean? That's why I try to, if I'm able to be the first to review something, that's great. But if not, then it's alright too. I just try to be myself. I've always kind of stuck to my guns, and that's the way it'd be. I mean, you can't always. I mean, the way she was going, trying to get, it'd drive me nuts. Huh. It'd drive me nuts. Well, anyways, she tried. I mean, she's done. She did a couple of things that were pretty outrageous on the channel, and then things go on, and she hid it from like her family. I think her brother knew about it, but her mom didn't know about it. Because she even talked to her brother, but she hid it from her mom. And one thing I have a problem with the movie is I don't think the girl who started it or the camera was that cute. I thought her mother was far more attractive than she was. And something like that's bad if you have like a female in the lead of a movie and they're not attractive. Because I remember seeing a horror film called The Train. Not the Burt Lancaster one. It was one from New Image. It's kind of like a take on Hostel or something like that. I didn't think the female lead was attractive at all. Now, that Miss Quinton's very pretty. But I mean, I was fascinated to see what she thought of the movie after I saw it. And basically in this movie, it gets very bizarre because there's someone that looks just like her that took over and started doing the shows. It's really strange. I don't really want to get in anymore without doing spoiler territory. I thought it was a very good but strange film. The problem, I didn't find it as that involving, but I did enjoy the movie. It goes by at a quick pace. It's a Netflix movie, and they teamed up with Blumhouse, who did a whole bunch of movies. And I liked it. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now, there was actually some background information on that Miss Quinn's video. If you watch the movie, go to Miss Quinn's channel after the movie and watch her review of it. It's pretty interesting. I want to see her take of it. And they said the one girl that wrote it was also a former cam girl, so I guess it was more respectfully done. And it was an alright movie. I thought it was just very bizarre, So that's my review of Cam. I think that's pretty much all I had to say about that one. But without giving away spoilers. But it's a very unusual movie. But don't watch the trailer, gives away the whole movie. Sometimes that does that. Next was Werewolf on Wheels. Now, I know my friend Howie Cat asked me to review this. And he said it was listed as like the first biker horror film. He said he thought it looked like it'd be funny. I'd never seen it, though. I've always heard about it. I saw Werewolf on Washington. It came out about the same time. That was really goofy with Dean Stockwell. That was really goofy. Now, as far as the biker horror film is concerned, I saw there was a couple. The first thing I saw that really touched on that subject matter was I rented Tales from the Crypt in the 80s. Not the TV show, the original British horror film made in, 72? And they had like one of the tales was like this guy being pursued by this biker that was like a skeleton or something like that. It was pretty unusual. Look at something. And so that was about it for a while. And then when I was in Germany, it was going to video rental stores, and it was really strange in Germany because they say they banned kids from going to these stores because they have like the adult films right out on display in like a certain section for anyone to see. So a lot of times they say no one under 18 is allowed to come in. And there's one video store that was close, and it said like no one under 18 is allowed to go in this room. And they had the adult section right there. They had kung fu movie, they had sci-fi movie, they had horror films right in the room that you weren't allowed to go into. And then outside that they had like the comedies and dramas and stuff like that, new releases. Music videos. No, I think they had music videos in Porno Room too. It was really weird how they had things set up. That was right outside Post. I usually would like gravitate to the horror section. I always have. And they had a biker movie called Northville or Northdale Cemetery Massacre, which I never saw. I don't know why I never bothered to rent it. I never did. And I read some unusual ones, and you're limited to what they have. It's not like streaming now. You see so many horror films, like, I don't know what to choose, and you actually skip over films. The video rental play, if you're at a place for like 2 years, you'll probably rent like most of those movies. I never read Northdale Cemetery Massacre. I knew that was a biker film. And it was listed as a horror film. I didn't see it until much later, till 2010. My friend Ryan Platts actually made me a copy. I watched it, and it was more about the bikers are kind of like good guys in this, and it was more about them eventually fighting with the cops. That was the whole movie. And the whole biker thing, the biker horror film and stuff like that was probably derived out of the fact that Easy Rider was such a smash hit. So they decided to do a whole bunch of and then of course the biker horror theme would come up because horror is one of the greatest genres in the world. There's so many sub-genres and sub-genres within the horror films. And, but I mean, Northfield Cemetery Massacre was pretty good. And I remember the first biker horror film I ever did see. I mean, like I said, the Tales from the Crypt thing was just a segment. The whole thing, I remember in like the mid-90s, 94, 95, going to the D&K store. Does anyone remember the D&K store? And they had a movie called Psychomania, which is a British film. And they said it might have been the only British biker film, but I mean, I mentioned Tales from the Crypt, and that was British too. It was about this gang of motorcycle guys, and they made a pact with the devil so that they were always eternally young. And that was like the first one. I think it was a VHS. I think it was like $5, which is expensive for the D&K store back then. Because I remember that we had Atari 2600 going to the D&K store. I mean, spending a lot of money for these, and then they had a whole bunch for like $1, $2. It was really weird. That was a good movie too. I enjoyed that one. That was a 10 out of 10 right there. And I remember 2016 when I was still judging stuff for the Horror Fest. No, 2015, 2016. No, maybe it was 2016 when I was still judging stuff for the Horror Fest. They had a movie called Frankenstein Created Bikers. And that movie sucked. It's like over 2 hours long. They were trying to be a grindhouse film. I was watching. I couldn't take it after a while. I gave it a low score. It was so uninvolving. It's so boring. They had all these interesting ideas, but they just did it in such a boring manner. Well, anyways, that's my history with biker horror films. Now, the movie Werewolf on Wheels is very interesting. The biggest problem is lighting, because a lot of it was so dark you couldn't see anything. Even in the daytime, it was always like shrouded in shadows, which, I mean, sounded like a neat idea for a horror film, but it was kind of frustrating because you couldn't get like clear shots in the day, and then this is the daytime. About this motorcycle gang, they were causing trouble, and they ended up going to this one place that had like a church with these monks, and they're all Satanists. And they come down and they give the bike guys a bunch of water and bread and stuff. And then they end up falling asleep. They do this whole big ceremony where the guy gets this one lady and stuff. And they freak out and they try to end up leaving and stuff. And then throughout the course, they go from place to place. And then at nighttime, these werewolves would attack. They turn away and they would attack. Kind of. And you only saw a little bit. And then towards the end, they did a bigger reveal. But the biggest problem was you couldn't see anything. They did something really, really cool that I liked. It would have been cool if you could see it better. The movie itself is only okay. It kind of it's very slow moving and kind of boring. You don't really get invested in these characters at all. The werewolf stuff looks okay. Like I said, you don't see transformation that much because it's so dark you can't see anything. I give Werewolves on Wheels 6 out of 10. It's alright. I like Psychomania much better. At least you could see everything. It wasn't like shrouded in shadows and stuff. But I want to thank Howie Cat for letting me know about that. Because I knew about the film, but I just forgot about it. For reminding me, I want to thank Howie Cat for reminding me about it. Thank you very much, buddy. Next is a movie called Treevenge. Now, I heard about it on Queenie Todd's Google Hangout. It's a short film. It's on YouTube, 60 minutes long. I guess it's been on there for a while. And it's very good. I mean, it goes in the taboo territory that sometimes horror movies always hint at, and then they sometimes don't go. This movie does go there. But it's done it's like a horror comedy. It's very unusual. It's about like Christmas trees taking revenge. And that's all I want to mention. It's really, really good. You know, you see a bunch of Christmas trees getting taken down, and there's like little subtitles. Sometimes the subtitles are blurry, so if you watch it right on a computer or cell phone, if you watch it on like the Roku on the TV, I couldn't read the subtitles. It's so tiny, it's so kind of blurry. If you read it, you'll be able to read it more on webcam. I mean, and this isn't a foreign film at all. It's American. I mean, but they show like they have like the trees talk kind of, which is kind of interesting. But it's very entertaining. That's a 10 out of 10. It's brilliant. Next is a movie called Blowout, and also De Palma, and they kind of go hand in hand because I saw on Netflix they have a movie called De Palma about the films of Brian De Palma. And Brian De Palma is a filmmaker I kind of lost faith in. I used to like his work, and then after Carlito's Way, I haven't liked anything he's done since. I mean, been really disappointed. I love Carlito's Way. And there was a movie that came on John Travolta called Blowout, Nancy Allen. I saw it on the NBC Nightly. This is back when we didn't have cable. This is back when they used to show movies on TV a lot. And I saw it on TV on NBC. And I figured if I'm going to watch this, watch that, because they're showing clips from his movie, and I was like, oh crap, I bet you're going to give spoilers away, and they do, especially for Blowout. You know, showing like the whole aspects of the movie he talks about. I mean, you know, there's a movie you want to see before seeing the Brian, probably watch it because they give away spoilers and stuff. Because they show clips from the movie. Yeah, except for Wise Guys. They don't give anything away for Wise Guys. But I'll get back to that when I do the Brian De Palma review. So I saw Blowout. Blowout is free if you have Amazon Prime to watch on Prime Video. And it's a fantastic film. It's all about sound. But I mean, I'd never seen it uncut. It's an R-rated film. I just saw it on TV on NBC a long time ago, and I don't remember it that well. And I really enjoyed it. It's really a fascinating movie about a guy that who records sound editor and stuff, and he's able to record sound. And this actually reflects upon some experiences that he had, Brian De Palma had, and that's why he got some of the idea for it. And it's it's brilliant. It's very Hitchcocky, because he's trying to do like Hitchcock type stuff. And I think it's a fantastic movie. I give it a 10 out of 10. It's really good. I don't want to give away too many spoilers and stuff. But I remember, I think Siskel and Ebert loved it. And they had like, it's from this one, the place he worked for does like cheesy horror films and stuff. Or just horror films, I should say. And there was like, I'm sure Gene Siskel loved it. There's like a big post for the movie The Boogeyman. The Uli Lamel one from 1980, which they hated. You see that poster a lot. I'm sure Gene Roger loved that because they hated that movie. The Boogeyman was really good. The Boogeyman 2 was terrible that he did. Anyway, it's very good. It's an awesome movie. 10 out of 10 for that one, definitely. Now, the Brian De Palma documentary was made by A24, and that's probably a good deal because they got all the film clips and stuff, you know. And it talks about his life and how he got involved in the movie. And I guess he was part of they have like a new crew of filmmakers, including like him, Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas. And they're all kind of like friends and stuff. And they talk about his early work, his early days. And I saw one of his earliest movies. I mean, I think he started doing film in the 60s. I saw one. And I got the IMDb page up, so it'll be easy for me to tell you my thoughts about these movies that he did, that I saw. They had a dollar store in Erie for a long time, and they had like double features. And they had one called Blue Manhattan I never heard of before. And that was like a retitled version of a movie he did called Hi Mom back in 1970. Robert De Niro's in that. It's a very unusual comedy. So it was really strange. Some of these movies are very out there, you know, and reflective of the 60s and very early 70s, you know. And I saw it, and I really I enjoyed it somewhat. I think my dad hated it, but I give it a 7.5 out of 10. They had some funny parts in it, but it was just so weird. They had a movie he did like his first main called Get to Know Your Rabbit. I'd never seen that one before. Now, Sisters is one he did. I remember seeing that on first hearing about that. They had a thing I did a review of what was it? Trailers. Something that they had something of trailers. They used to have like combination of trailers. I can't remember what the hell it was called. It was. I did a review of it though. I mean, it was they showed the trailer for it in there, so that's why I found out. But it took me forever to find it. I remember at Media Play, which I miss Media Play. That's a place that's no longer around. They had that available from the Criterion Collection on DVD, and they went like $30. I didn't feel like paying that much for it. And it was from American International. I didn't see it till much later on TCM, and Dad and I saw it, and it was completely different from what I thought. It was very hitch. Dad and I really liked it. It was really a different film. I loved that. That was a 10 out of 10 for me. Next was Phantom of the Paradise. I saw that on Encore, and that was like a Rocky Horror Picture Show before Rocky Horror Picture Show came out, and that was a big hit, but bizarre film. And I really liked that too. That's a so strange. I have to watch it again. That's probably 9 out of 10. It's very unusual though, but it's really cool. Next was Obsession. I didn't see that. And next was like Carrie, which people consider probably one of the best Stephen King adaptations. And I remember seeing that on the late night news. I mean, now this is still reviewing the Brian De Palma documentary because he talks about his life and how he got into movies, and then he kind of like goes through all his movies, you know. And I thought I'd go through his movies too. And Carrie, I remember seeing that on late night TV, Channel 35, had it late night, and they actually showed nudity. They didn't cut out anything. I was shocked. I mean, I didn't tell them. I just watched myself. And my mom went in, she said, turn that off. She didn't know. I watched it anyways. Ha ha. And that's a brilliant movie. That's 10 out of 10. Now, next was The Fury, which I remember seeing it on TV a little bit. And then I rented it. It was at the library in Fort Bragg, and I loved it. He said that was probably one of his least favorite movies. I love The Fury. The Fury was awesome. Next was a movie called Home Movies. I never saw that. Next was Dress to Kill, which I remember Mom and Dad rented it, and Mom wouldn't let me see it. I watched a few seconds of it before going to school, and then they returned it. And I never saw it till I was in Germany. Because she would like try to restrict everyone from watching stuff. And I saw it, and I really enjoyed it. I saw it in Germany. It was a fantastic movie. And then I saw it on, again, a few years back with Dad. I think it was on Netflix. And watched it again and really enjoyed it. It's a great movie. I like Michael Caine anyways. Andrew Dixon was on. It was a fantastic. That was a 10 out of 10 right there. That was a great one he did. Next was Blowout, the John Travolta one. Fantastic. And after that, of course, Scarface. Scarface was awesome. I loved it. That's a 10 out of 10, of course. The next, Body Double, which I love too. And I know the guy. Someone asked. Bill Maher was on. I think it was on Larry King or something like that. And some guy asked if he was in the movie Body Double. And Bill Maher said no, if someone looked like him. He looked a lot like Bill Maher, but that wasn't Bill Maher in the movie. And Body Double is a fantastic movie. If you like Frank Goes to Hollywood, they did a whole video within the movie for Relax. I thought it was fantastic. I loved it. That was okay, it said Frank Goes to Hollywood Relax version. Okay, video short, they listed that too. But that's in the movie Body Double. It's fantastic. I loved it. A great movie. He said that he had problems with the censors. He was always fighting the censor board. And that's one he had problems with too, along with like Dress to Kill. But Body Double, I didn't think that it wasn't really that widely received at the time, but people go to him and say how great it is now. I love Body Double. I remember renting it. It's a fantastic movie. Next after that, I didn't know he directed the Bruce Springsteen music video "Dancing in the Dark" that really introduced Courtney Cox to the world. Fantastic video, though. I'm not a big Bruce Springsteen fan, but the video is classic, so that's a 10 out of 10. Next is he wanted to do something different. Well, the Bruce Springsteen one was different, too, after Body Double. He directed the movie Wise Guys. It was a comedy about gangsters and stuff. And he barely talked about this movie at all. I mean, there's no spoilers on this one. I love Wise Guys. And that was really good and really funny. It would have been cool if he would have talked about what it was like, because the very unusual wrestling manager, Captain Lou Albano, was in that movie. And it would have been really cool if he would have talked about what it was like to work with him. And that's a great movie. That's a 10 out of 10 right there. Next came The Intouchables, which was a big hit movie that he had a big budget on. And that's a fantastic classic. That's a 10 out of 10 right there. I keep forgetting he directed that one, but a great movie. And then I guess he did a video documentary about Bruce Springsteen, which I never saw. And then he did the movie Casualties of War. And I saw that in the military movie theater when I was in Germany. And I think I might have been the only person that liked it. People hated that movie. And then I don't know if my dad saw it, but my dad said he hates Sean Penn, so I didn't watch it. And I know this one girl said she hated it because she hates Sean Penn. But I thought it was a fantastic movie. That's a 10 out of 10 too, but boy, people hated that movie. I don't think it ever did good, I guess. He said it was a nightmare to direct. And next was Bonfire, the Vanities, was a huge monumental failure, but I liked the movie. But he said it's a good movie, just don't read the book. I never read the book, and I enjoyed the movie because I saw that when I got home from, when did I see that? I think when I got home from Germany, or I came home for Christmas when I was in Fort Bragg. I saw it at the West Erie Plaza. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was great. But that's one that he said that he compromised a lot. And he said the movie was fine, but just don't read the book. I never read the book. And I did like the movie, but I mean, that's the one that a lot of people hated too. Next was Raising Cain. That always looked interesting. I finally saw it and I didn't like it. Then was Carlito's Way, the last movie he really directed in 93. I remember seeing trailers for that when I was still in the Army. And I never knew when it came out. I never know when it came out, and I eventually saw it on cable. And I liked the movie. That's a 10 out of 10. It was fantastic. Next was the movie The Drive-In, which I hated. I hated Mission Impossible, the first one. I thought it was in... I know my dad hated it too. We saw The Drive-In. I didn't like it at all. I'm probably in the minority about that, but I didn't like the first one at all. I like a lot of the other Mission Impossibles, but boy, I didn't like. And I was really not interested in seeing any of the Mission Impossibles after that one. I hated it that much. But I liked some of the other ones I've seen. I haven't seen them all yet. Next was Snake Eyes. I didn't see Snake Eyes till I think I rented it on video, and I didn't care for that one either. Really disappointed with that. Next was Mission to Mars. Very disappointed in that one. I saw it on cable, and I know the people who did go see it said they hated it. And that's one that he had like a really huge budget on there, like over $100 million and stuff like that. And he said he kind of just wanted to quit after that because it was a huge failure. And next they were talking about some movies I'd never seen. Femme Fatale, I never even heard of that one. Black Dahlia, I heard of that one. I never saw it though. And then Redacted. He ended with Redacted. And all I know is that I don't watch Bill O'Reilly, but I did watch this segment because some of my dad would watch him. And they were talking about this controversial movie and he hated it. I mean, I don't care if Bill O'Reilly, but that's the only time I ever heard of the movie. I don't remember playing in the theater or anything. And that was pretty much it. And then he talks a little bit more about his family and stuff. I really thought De Palma was a fascinating movie. If there's a De Palma movie you want to see up until Redacted, your best bet's probably to watch it because they might have spoilers and stuff like that for Blowout. Goodfellas, not Goodfellas. That's Scorsese. If you want to see Wise Guys, don't worry about Wise Guys. They barely talk about it. He said he didn't know why it didn't do good. He thought it was a funny little movie, and I liked it though. I remember Cisco and Ebert liked it, and they put it on their guilty pleasures list. But I remember renting that at the video store. I thought it was funny. The Palma documentary is fascinating. I give that a 10 out of 10 too. So I hope you like this big movie and short film review. I have an idea for a Christmas one I'm going to be doing soon. And then I might lay off the movie reviews except for the ones that John and I watch, you know. So I hope you like this video, everybody. Dedicated to That Miss Quinn, Howie Cat, and I guess Queenie Todd too, because of her podcast and stuff. Because that's how I found out about Treevenge. So until next time, please, Camera Legion.